So here's the question, find the inverse of this function here. Looks a bit complicated, but let's try to see where we are gonna get with this. So when you're finding the inverse, of course, you change f of x to x or y to x. F of x is the same as y. Let me just organize my writing here because we might need the space. So x equals, and then you change every x to y. So to do the inverse, that's the first thing we do. So we're gonna have y minus 1 over y plus 1 under the square root plus y plus 1 and y minus 1. So we want to change every x in here into y. That's how we do the inverse. Now, the only thing I could see that I have to do here is do a common denominator here. So the common denominator is going to be both of these, y plus 1 and y minus 1. Which means I have to multiply this y minus 1 into there and the y plus 1 into there. So let's go through the process. That's y minus 1 times y minus 1 plus y plus 1 times y plus 1. Let's just extend that square root a little bit further, which gives me x equals, so you could FOIL this or just use the shortcut, whatever you want to do. So here, when you FOIL this, you're going to get y squared minus 2y plus 1. And also when you FOIL this right here, you're going to get plus, that's going to be y squared plus 2y plus 1 all over y plus 1, y minus 1. Now, right away, I see this will cancel right here. Negative 2y and 2y. And what I'm going to have under the square root here is I'm adding y squared and y squared. I'm getting 2y squared. And I'm adding 1 and 1, then I'm getting plus 2. And here we have, I'm going to FOIL this, and I'm going to get y squared minus 1. So as you see, this is not unfolding really fast. It's not unfolding yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to divide my page here. And I'm going to take it to the other side here. At the same time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to square both sides to get rid of the square root. So I have x squared equals 2y squared plus 2 over y squared minus 1. So the square will cancel the square root on this side, and here we just squared the x and we got x squared. And I'm going to cross multiply the y squared minus 1 into the x squared. So it's going to be x squared, y squared minus 1 equals 2y squared plus 2. Now I'm going to distribute the x squared into the bracket. So I'm going to get x squared, y squared minus x squared equals 2y squared plus 2. I'm going to bring everything that has a y to one side, and anything that doesn't have a y, I'm going to bring it to the other side. So the x squared, y squared will stay right here. I'm bringing the 2y squared to the left side of the equal sign, so it becomes minus 2y squared. And I'm moving the negative x squared to this side, so it becomes x squared. And we still have the plus 2. Now this will allow me to factor out the y squared. And when I factor that out, I get x squared minus 2 equals x squared plus 2. I'm going to divide both sides by x squared minus 2, and that will leave me with y squared equals, when I divide both sides by x squared minus 2, this will cancel here, and I end up with x squared plus 2 over x squared minus 2. And therefore, I have to square root both sides to get rid of the square on the y. And y would equal plus or minus the square root of x squared plus 2 over x squared minus 2 And then we found the inverse. We could always write the inverse on top because we always like to indicate it as f to the -1 of x equals plus or minus square root of x squared plus 2 over x squared minus 2, and it unfolded right there. So that's how you do a question that looks complicated, yet if you go through the steps and all the math tools that you have and apply them, you'll be able to get the final answer. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time, bye-bye.